What makes a good game idea? And how do you separate the great ideas from the bad? How do you even come up with an idea in the first place? In this video, I'll be walking you through my process for coming up with video game ideas and how you can decide which ones are actually worth pursuing. Let's dive in. One thing that many game designers do wrong when they're looking for game ideas is only looking for inspiration in other games. And this is fine. Sometimes you can come up with great ideas by looking at what other games do right and what they do poorly. However, I think that a better idea is to look for inspiration in the real world. Yes, the real world. Look for things that you're interested in. What kinds of things do you like doing in real life? What are things that you're good at that you could potentially turn into a game? Game designer Will Wright, creator of The Sims, has been known to take inspiration from ant farms when making his games. Shigeru Miyamoto took inspiration from his childhood explorations in nature when he was creating The Legend of Zelda. If these great game designers are doing it, you probably should too. Looking for inspiration in real life can help to come up with unique ideas that are different than what's already out there. Can you make a game about real-world activities that might not sound like they might be a good idea to make into a game? For example, the Guitar Hero games are inspired by the act of playing electric guitar. You can do the same thing. Take an activity in the real world and make a game out of it. Another thing that I find helpful is to write down my ideas whenever I have them. You never know when inspiration will strike, so it can be helpful to have a phone, notebook, laptop, or iPad if you're that kind of person who likes iPads for some reason. So you can write down your ideas whenever you need to. If you came up to me and you said, "Edge, I need an idea right now, give it to me," I would have no idea what to give you. It's helpful to have a reserve with ideas so that if you're stuck, you can pull something out that you thought of a while ago. Inspiration comes and goes, so it's helpful to have a backup plan if you need to. And if the ideas just aren't coming, go take a break. Do something else for a while. You never know when inspiration is going to strike. So sometimes you just need to clear your mind and then come back to it later. Okay, after you've looked for ideas in the real world and written them down when you have them, it's time to determine which ideas are actually good and which ones are worth pursuing. One thing that I like to look at is how original is the idea. Has the idea been done before? If you're making a game about soldiers who have to fight aliens in space, there is a lot of games you're going to need to compete with. There are quite a few games out there where aliens and soldiers fight in space. However, if you're making a game about monkeys who fight aliens in space, maybe there's a lot less competition. And that might also not be a good idea. Who knows? But that goes to show that it's important to see if there are other games that are similar to what you're trying to create. Another thing that I like to look for is the idea similar to a game not only with story, but with mechanics. You could be creating a game with a really unique story, but that plays exactly the same as another game. Don't just make another shooter. Think about how it's going to be different from the shooters that already exist. Another thing that I like to do when looking to see if an idea is good is checking to see if it's actually playable. Is the idea actually a game? If your idea only has to do with story and characters, then you might need to come up with some mechanics before you can actually turn that into a game. But if your idea is about mechanics and about gameplay, then that'll be much easier to turn into a working game. And it's very important for you to find ideas that have those things. Another thing that you should look at is the idea actually achievable? I'm a solo game developer. I cannot create a massive open world RPG. I just can't. However, If you have the budget to do something like that, please do. Also, that sounds really nice. But think about if you can realistically create the game with your skills, with your time, and with your budget. It's important to not start doing something if you can't finish it. So, you know how to determine if an idea is good. Is it original? Is it actually about gameplay? And can you actually make the idea? Is it feasible with your skills and abilities? And finally, are you excited about the idea? And are your friends excited about the idea? Tell people about your game and see if they think it sounds cool. And honestly, another really important thing is, do you think your game sounds fun? If you don't think your game sounds worth playing, that's probably a good sign that you should not be making it. All right, you've learned how to create game ideas and how to decide which ones are actually good. Look for inspiration not only in video games, but also in the real world and in the things that you like doing in real life. Also, when determining which ideas are actually worth creating, realize that ideas really aren't that valuable. You can come up with a ton of ideas, but it's hard to come up with a really good idea. Try and determine if your ideas are original and if they actually sound fun to make into a game. Making an idea, though, is just the tip of the iceberg. After you come up with a game idea, there's a lot more that you need to do when creating a game. In my next video, I'll be walking you through what you should do next after you come up with an idea. How do you turn just a simple idea into a working game? I'll see you next time.